Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. And thank you for holding this very important hearing, because people who service in the military, they're heroes, but heroes need help. They make us secure, but they actually live with insecurity in terms of their own personal financial circumstances. And so we have a responsibility to put in place the kinds of programs that help to ensure that that security is there, and we have to make sure that there's a safety net ready so that they don't have to run to predatory payday lenders. And I think that's something that I'd like to talk a little bit about here today, because members of our military have to resort to financing from these predatory lenders all too often. We know that military service members are 3 times more likely than civilians to use predatory payday loans that charge exorbitant rates. That's 3 times what civilians use. 27% of military families carry $10,000 or more in credit card debt, compared to only 16% for civilian families. 10% of military families carry more than $20,000 in debt, compared to only 7% of civilian families. And more than half of military service members are not saving for the future and have trouble paying their monthly bills. And that's why this morning I reintroduced my Military Savings Act, which is legislation I previously introduced in the House of Representatives. And the bill would promote savings rates among military service members and decrease their need to turn to predatory payday lenders in times of financial crisis. The bill establishes a pilot program in which financial institutions operating on military bases will offer innovative financial products to help troops and their families improve their financial situations. And they can include a new kind of savings account that automatically deposits a portion of their additional income that the service member earns while on deployment into a savings account, rather than going entirely into a checking account. And that bill has now been endorsed by the Consumer Federation of America. So, Mrs. Petraeus, I'd just like to ask you, what is your feeling about a program like that that could be put in place in order to give additional protections for service members?
Well, Senator, thank you for your concern for military and their families and the financial challenges that they do face. I think anything that promotes innovative products that will help them save is a good thing. And we did hold a financial fitness forum about 6 months after I started at the CFPB to get some best practices from some of the financial institutions that serve the military. And I was certainly very interested in the ones that combined both a fair deal with a potential savings component. Because the truth is, if you need to borrow it today and you're not saving anything for the next time, you're going to be out there borrowing it again. And we need to work on anything we can to help break that cycle of repeated borrowing and never setting anything aside. So I look forward to seeing the results of a pilot like this.
Thank you. Mr. Harwood, do you have views on a pilot project like that?
I find the idea very intriguing. The idea that you would, through legislation, encourage a broader range of financial products and services on these installations. Obviously, the FTC is both a consumer protection and antitrust agency. On the antitrust side, we love competition. We love to see more options available for consumers. We love to see consumers have more choices. This would do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments from other of the panelists in terms of creating that kind of a program for service members? Ms. Nelson?
I think obviously a variety of products is a fabulous idea, and I think that's a really great step, Senator. And I think that transparency of these products too, which seems to be lacking in a lot of financial products that soldiers are looking at, is going to be a key component to the success of something like that, so that the soldiers can easily compare, make wise consumer decisions, so that they don't get themselves in problems down the road. So I think that is an excellent idea in terms of creating the diversity.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yes, Senator Markey, no, I think I would just add my voice to these, that anything we can do, as we've discussed before, in terms of promoting financial literacy and education among the troop members, will be of great benefit to them and to morale and to the effectiveness of the troops. So I think this is a wonderful idea.
Good, thank you so much. I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this is a very important subject area. We know that there's a real problem out there. And we know that there's 3 million people who have served in the Iraq wars and in Afghanistan, which is unbelievable. The number is so huge. And we know what a high percentage of them are coming back with medical issues, upwards of 20% of them with traumatic brain injury. And we just have a responsibility in the totality of their financial situation to try to put in place the kinds of programs that will help them and their families. And I thank you for this very important hearing.